Alright, and welcome to the next video in my How to Make a Horror Game series, which is the follow-up, the application-based follow-up to my Elements of Horror 101 series. Okay, so in the last video we did our basic story. What is the foundation of this game, the overall idea behind it? And that is a team of investigators investigating a haunted mansion over a weekend. Okay, so from the basic story, we get into characters. So I've already written down a group of characters here for our team of investigators based on some of the stuff I talked about in the Elements of Horror. We've got a professor. I don't have names or anything. The details at this point aren't important. What we're dealing with here is the overall plan and idea. You know, in a game of this complexity would probably take a year or two to get made, depending on the money and the team behind it. So you have all that time to work out all the story details, the names, all that stuff can come later. To start with, though, what you need is a good, solid foundation and scaffolding to work off of. That's what this is all about. And the reasoning I'm giving you for what I've written down here, what I've come up with. So, we have a professor that's an authority figure. Now, if you've watched my character video for the Elements of Horror, the Horror 101, you'll know that the point of an authority figure in horror is to seem invulnerable until a key point in the story when suddenly they are ripped down. Not necessarily killed, but brought low. Okay, you have the authority figure that seems like they can just deal with anything, and then somewhere, usually midway through to towards the end, especially at the end if it's the main character, especially. But yeah, the point of the authority figure is to seem invulnerable so that when something does happen that brings them low, whatever the specifics of that event are, it makes the whole thing even scarier. Because you've taken away that rock, that sturdy individual. Okay, and then we're going to have a freshman couple. We're going to go with college students and a college professor. Kind of, again, I'm basing some of this stuff off of the miniseries Rose Red, as well as like Poltergeist and any of the myriads of other in paranormal investigator movies and TV shows like Ghost Hunters. So we're going to have a freshman couple, a guy and a girl, and they're vulnerable figures. And again, the point of the vulnerable characters is to be vulnerable. You know, we're supposed to care about them. So by making them a couple, a happy couple, and making them really, try and make them not annoying but endearing, and you know, you build up with those guys that you want to see them make it out alive so they can still be together. You know, you really play up their romance and how much they love each other and all that stuff. Again, it's a fine line between being endearing and being cheesy, but you do it correctly, and you've created a couple of characters that pretty quickly the audience, the player, will want to see live, which makes it all the more worse when we put them in danger or do things to them. Okay, and then kind of based off of, again, Rose Red and 13 Ghosts, another one, we're going to have an asshole psychic. And his role is the redemption figure, which is he's there both to provide various, you know, the whole psychic medium, you know, background story, finding out information, kind of a narrative exposition. Is that right? Exposition? Whatever. You know, kind of fill some of those roles, but also the redemption character, in that we start off really not liking him, but by the end we do, potentially. It's good. It's usually good to have a redemption character because you can play it different ways. You can keep him an asshole and make people root for him being killed, but I'm not really in favor of that particular scenario. I prefer starting it off to where nobody likes him and then working it out to the end where he redeems himself and comes through as kind of a hero of sorts. But, there's lots of different ways you can play with that, which is why it's good to have at least one character that, at least at the start, nobody likes. Because you can work with that different ways. And also, it's good to have a character like that because you can do things to them and the audience really won't care as much. It's a contrast between your vulnerable characters and your authority figure. You're giving people a variety of characters that they can pretty much immediately attach specific notions to. Some people might like the asshole, and other people, and the real cynical people will like the asshole and not like the happy couple. But we're gonna go with more of the standard way of looking at things and what people are more likely to do. A lot of this stuff is just psychology. Okay, and then kind of our main character. Although I'm not sure I want to do main character for this particular game necessarily, is going to be a shy ghost geek. He's our character that we kind of identify with a bit. So you can do things like make him a gamer, and he's interested in ghosts and horror and stuff like that. You take somebody that's kind of a cross section of your target audience, and then you create a character based off of that stuff. Like somebody playing a horror game is going to be interested in horror, most likely. So a horror gamer that also goes out and does ghost hunting, and he's kind of a little bit of a gothy type, but not really dedicated to it. A bit too much of a dork for being a hardcore goth, and he loves horror games and gaming in general to a degree. Loves, horror movies and all that stuff, and he goes out ghost hunting because he's really interested in all of that stuff. Again, it's just trying to create this character that's a bit like the target audience, that hardcore target audience, so they identify with him. Okay, and then since we're kind of making him a shy ghost geek, we're going to go ahead and throw a love interest in here, which is the hot, sweet girl, who is the crush for the main character and another vulnerable figure to threaten. Okay, and then we also will have the owner of the house that can be thrown in there. I don't have any specifics about this guy, other than that he's the owner of the house, which you can do lots of different things with. You can go kind of like House on a Haunted Hill, and he's actually behind some of the crap that's going on. There's lots of different ways you can play with that. The rose red method is that he's, the house is targeting him because he's blood. 13 Ghosts, which is a movie I really like. I don't know why some people hate it, but I really like it. Always have. But in that one, the owner of the house is behind the whole thing. There are actually ghosts, but he's also behind the whole thing. Whereas in the original House on Haunted Hill, it's implied that there's actually ghosts, but it's never shown or implicitly stated that there are in the remake. He's behind it to a certain degree, and then the ghosts are also killing people without his awareness till the end. So, yeah, those are our characters. We've got that authority figure that we can bring low at some point. A freshman couple as vulnerable figures, an asshole psychic to be a redemption figure or a red shirt or something along those lines. We've got our kind of main identification type of character, the shy ghost geek. We've got the hot sweet girl, girl next door type, kind of the romantic figure crush for the main character and another vulnerable figure. And then we've got the owner of the house, lots of different things you can do with him. So those are our characters. And one of the good things is at this point, because I've left things so kind of open in general, lots of different directions you can take things in. We're building a good scaffolding because the point of the scaffolding is to open up ideas, when you're building a game, is to create something to work off of. That's what we're doing here. So thanks for watching. Go ahead and give me that upvote. The upvote. Leave your comments and questions. Don't troll me or I troll back. I haven't been giving my troll warning, but I will now. Don't troll me or I will troll you right back. And I'm very good at getting at trolls because you're very easy. So otherwise, be nice. Questions, comments, ideas for other videos, whatever. Go ahead and leave that in the comments. Visit my website if you want. That's acidbathproductions.biz. There will be a link in the description. It's my forum. You can come hang out there. With my current situation, I can't get on there very much right now. But come and hang out anyway if you want. Let's see what else. The upvote, the questions and comments, come to the website, then share the video, this video and other videos if you want, with people online, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, websites, friends, family, purple people eaters, whatever. Share the video, please. It's appreciated, very appreciated. And I think that wraps up all the YouTube junk. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, bye, bye.